Season, man, it has been some of these seasons talked about last week. Some of these seasons they fly right by. Other ones, other ones they crawl. This one, it's kind of been in between. It just seems like it's just been a really busy year, So I don't know. To me, it's like I don't know. I'm not NFL is not my game, but I do the best I can. It's not my favorite sport. And I think Jay is starting to learn the harsh realities as it happens when you become older than your favorite players. I think that's when it really starts to set in that it's a business and that second and three is no longer second and three, and third and seven, and a stop is not necessarily a stop if Taylor Swift is in the stands or whatever the case may be. It's just the way that of the world. The NFL is I don't know if it's as scripted as some say, but let's just say I think that certain outcomes and settings are somewhat predetermined. I, I would say. I think it's fair to say that, and I don't think there's any way they could really dispute it because the evidence is so clear. Jay really liked that call in that Buffalo Dallas game.
There's a couple of them that were disgusting. But hey, it's the NFL, man. You gotta try to see through it. It's tough too sometimes.
This has been a different year for the NFL because normally there's two teams that are like you know when all is said and done 13-3, but now 17 games scheduled 14-3, 15-2. This year really not the case. It's more wide open, and then with the Niners playing the Ravens this weekend and the Cowboys playing the Dolphins, it's really going to shake out even further. It's it's going to come down to it, and I think that when they do hit the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of value on the dogs. There's always a lot of value in the dogs in NFL playoffs, but it's just what are the dogs' records on the opening round of the play? Isn't it something crazy?
Oh, ATS or straight up,
ATS.
and you just want like wild card weekend.
Yeah, like wild card weekend or like
Let me see.
or the next round as well. It just seems like there's always a ton of dogs.
Wild card weekend going back to 1980. The underdogs are 83-75 with 6 pushes, and let me see what the next round is. Next round is underdogs are 82-4.
Wow. So it's a lot tighter than I thought it was. I thought it was a lot more dog friendly.
Well, they're up. They're 8 games over 500, so it's friendlier to the dogs than the favorites.
It seems like there's been years though where it was almost all dogs, which means there's been some chalky years too.
It means there's been, yeah. Funny how that works.
I guess it
But
depends.
this year, I think it might be one of those years where there may be value in just taking the underdog on the money line because I think it's pretty wide open as you do.
Yeah, it just seems like it's way wide open, and it's like when a guy like Brock Purdy is considered one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, that's wide open because this guy,
Right.
in a normal era of quarterbacking, he would be a bench player. I mean, can you imagine like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, just a few years ago when it was Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Brock Purdy? It's like he's not even in the same discussion, It's fine. He's done a nice job. He's managed this team well. He's won games with them. he's not Peyton Manning and he's not Tom Brady. Man, he's not even close. Um, anyway, speaking of Tom Brady, we got the Saints and the Rams here. This should be a beauty. Thursday night football action um, up against what's the bowl game? The college football bowl game. I've watched zero college football bowl action
The
this year.
Boca Raton Bowl, right in your neck of the woods.
Just I've watched zero college football bowl action this year. If the players aren't going to show up and watch, I'm not going to show up and watch either, and that's for sure. They've destroyed it. Anyways, what do you think of this one? The Rams and the Saints.
Well, I mean, the Rams are favored by 4. Have a total of 46 right now. When I look at this game, I'm just not going to make it very complicated. I mean, the Saints are 7-7 straight up, but they're 4-9 ATS. The Rams are also 7-7 straight up, but they're much better against the spread. They're 7-5-2 ATS. And what's really important is take a look at the teams that each has covered the spread against. The Rams own ATS wins versus the likes of the Seahawks, Colts, the Cardinals, but then also the Browns, the Ravens, and then the Commanders. So 4 of those opponents where they've gotten those ATS wins against currently have 500 or better records. But the Saints, they've only covered the spread this year against the Patriots, the Panthers, the Giants, and then the Colts. So of those 4 teams, only the Colts are in the playoff picture. So it's hard for me to get excited about what the Saints just did in their last 2 games. They had those blowout wins at home versus the Panthers and the Giants. I did have the Saints last week against the Giants, but still I'm not going to get excited that they beat the Giants by 18 points. So I'm going to take the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams as well. Saints are, like Big Al said, I think they are what they are. Their ATS record is what they are. Now out of the Superdome on the road, I think we see them struggle. They get superpowers in the Superdome. Outside of there, they're a 500 football team, and I think the Rams are better than people give them credit for. And I think the Rams win this game by like 6 points, maybe even a full touchdown. So give me Los Angeles at the crib. Can't trust the Saints at all on the road.
Yeah, I'm on the Rams in this one. I had them last week against the Commanders. They covered for me. I'll take it. I thought last week was just one of those cards that just at the end of the day, it just came up, and I didn't know which way was up, but the Rams, they did okay for me, and I just think that they've made these tough plays and tough catches, and they've showed some guts, and I think also you got just a straight coaching mismatch in this one. I don't love McVay. I mean, that field goal is going to keep me out of the money in the Circa. And I'm going to be talking about it for years. This could be one of the worst beats I ever had. The worst beat I ever had was the Super Bowl square when Leon Lett had the ball swatted out of his hand. That was the worst beat I ever had. But this one, this is going to be up there. But I think in this game I'm going to go with the Rams. Maybe I just put $1 million on them and get whole because of it. Got the Bengals up against the Steelers. Gotta love some good old-fashioned infighting from the Steelers now. Now, I was a big Pickens guy, but this is about as lame-ass as it gets. Jay, did you hear this, what Pickens said about why he did?
I was not blocking because I was trying not to get injured.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was even worse than that. It wasn't even like plain English, man. It was like, I ain't want to be injured. It's like, what?
Sad.
I mean, that's not going to endear yourself to the teammates. Bengals red hot again.
Jake Brr. Does the magic stop here is the $1 million question. This game makes me really nervous. The Steelers are assing it up, but like if there's a game they get up for, it's definitely the Bengals at home. So, and the line's only 2 for a reason. I do think the Bengals are the better team. They've won 3 straight. Back to back, we're at home, though. Do we trust them to go out on the road and still continue to get it done? I do. I do. The Steelers last week, they showed their hand. I think they're done. This might be the first year Mike Tomlin has a losing season. Let's see who he got. Yeah, he's gonna have a losing season this year, unless they can.
Who do they have the next 2 weeks after this?
Seattle, Baltimore. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Where's the Baltimore game?
Baltimore and at Seattle.
Yeah, they can beat Seattle.
They can beat Seattle, but they're not. They're not gonna beat Baltimore. I'm taking Jake Brr, and it's the Cincinnati Bengals here. Jake Shiesty.
Oof. That was a big signing for Miami there. JoJo Trader. Nice. These are our guys. I'm excited. Signing day. These are always been big days for us. And I think Miami's looking at top 5 class now. These are guys. I said it this morning on our live show. I said we always do this. This is our game. Offensive line. First we go defensive line, defensive line, defensive line. Then whoever's the fastest players we could possibly get. And that's what this guy is. Shamanab Madonna's, I think they've won the state championship in their division, I think 8 or 9 times in the last 10 years. Florida. This is their guy. Anyways, I like the Bengals in this one. I think that Tomlin, this is the worst he's looked, and I think that this thing with Pickens is the worst look he's had that I can remember. Like, what do you do? Is this a coachable moment? What do you do? I mean, this is like one of your best players. It's not like Najee Harris who you can just cut when the season's over. I don't know. I think the Bengals, this is their time of year. We said it last week. I'll say it again. December is for the Bengals.
Jake Brr.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh here. I thought it was, I had Indianapolis last week against the Steelers. I was actually surprised. All the money came on Pittsburgh, push it down to, at one point, pick them. I didn't quite understand that. Now everyone's running away from Pittsburgh, but it's their final home game of the season. And when you get a team playing their final home game off 3 Suats losses, they do pretty good. And especially when they're a home underdog, they've covered 64% since 1980. So I'm going to pull the trigger on Pittsburgh as a 2-point home dog.
Got the Bills and the Chargers. It's been a disaster for the Chargers, and now Staley not there to kick around anymore. Not a big surprise that he was fired, but I think the expectation of the team was really high coming in. It's got to be disappointing. For the Bills, they're kind of peaking at the right time, but do they have what it takes to keep it going? I mean, oh man, this is one of those games. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think this is the time they step up, and the Bills. I'm less than convinced. I am. Al.
I mean, I think this is a interesting game. I mean, the Chargers were the second team this season to lose by 40 or more points. We saw it, when your Dolphins, smashed the Broncos. Historically, when teams have these huge blowout losses, when they play at home the next week, they do bounce back. When they play on the road the next week, they don't. Chargers are at home, so that bodes well for them. And they're also a double-digit dog which is now I think 130 and 101 ATS. So I'll take the Chargers plus the points as a double-digit home dog.
I'm on the Chargers as well. Bills are overrated, bro. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Just a flat spot. They may win the game and keep their playoff hopes alive, and I know they blew the doors off my team last week, but read between the lines, man. It wasn't. It really wasn't that hard to see last week if you watched the game. It really wasn't. Their first 4 drives were all aided by penalty. You can say what you want, but they were. Go back and watch them. And it's not like all the calls were not questionable calls. That's what I mean. When they're all questionable and they all go one way and they all lead to points for one team, it's really not, it's really not that obvious. Really not that obvious. But they win here. They don't cover. Chargers, I think they get it done. I know the head coaching thing is usually early in the season, but for the Chargers, it still might actually breathe some fresh air through this bit. Who's their intern? Who is the intern? Is it Kellen Moore?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's I don't know how you pronounce his name. It's either GIF or Jiff Smith, GIFF.
That's crazy they didn't go with Kellen. I know he's probably mad.
Oh, I mean,
He's mad. He sucks. He's part of the problem, man.
He does suck. Like every year, he's like one of the top head coaching candidates, and then you don't even get the
which explains why half the coaches get fired every year.
Yeah. Oh well.
They're like, oh, we can make Kellen Moore. I don't think so.
Nah, yeah, I don't think so.
I'm good. Next up, Falcons and the Colts. That Colts.
That
freaking coach. Al?
Sorry. I mean, you've got Atlanta, like the Steelers playing their final home game of the season. They're going to end this year with back-to-back road games. And since 1980, NFL teams playing their final home game have gone 148 and 98 ATS versus an opponent off a straight-up win if our home team wasn't getting more than 4 points and also had a worse record than its opponents. So I'm going to take Atlanta minus the 1.5.
I'm on ATL too. They're still alive in the NFC South. The Colts, hell of a season, man. Hats off to them boys, but I think the run game here for the Falcons is going to be a little too much. I know they just lost on the road to Carolina. Everybody's going to overreact to that. They've lost back-to-back, but I just see them playing Atlanta-style football, playing the spoiler role. Atlanta's a team when you love them, it's time to get off of them. When you hate them, that's when it's time to get on them. That's the Falcons. Everybody hating on them right now. I'm going to get on them. I think they win and cover here.
I'm on the Colts. I made my biggest in-game bet of the season on Saturday in the Colts-Steelers game.
When it was 13-0 or when it was 14-13?
Halftime, 14-13.
Yeah.
I just took everything I had in every account that was available, and I bet it all on the Colts.
You could just see it coming.
Oh, yeah. You could just feel it. It was over. And I would do it again if I had the chance. But the Falcons on Sunday were my only loss. Bums. Well, they weren't my only loss, but they were one of them. I mean, how in the hell do you lose to the Panthers? The thing is, they're driving
you throw an interception deep in the other team's territory.
And a horrible, cross the body throw late over the middle. What are you doing? I'm not betting on the Falcons anymore. I'm taking the Colts. They don't deserve to play on Saturday. Falcons at home. No Chick-fil-A. No Polynesian sauce. Do you like Chick-fil-A, Al?
I do. It's in a crap location here in Los Angeles. It's over in Westwood, which I really don't get over too very often. But yeah, when I'm over in Westwood, I'll go to Chick-fil-A.
Everybody likes Chick-fil-A.
Can't go wrong with it, man.
Well, you can go wrong if they put pickles, Jay, on your.
Yeah.
Jay has a system. Been to Chick-fil-A with Jay. He has a system. It's very, very particular about the ordering. He's got a process.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he orders a sandwich. I didn't even know you could get it like that. Packers against the Panthers. Panthers coming off of the big win against the Falcons. Packers look about as bad. All of a sudden, they were looking great, and then all of a sudden it's like terrible. Tough to figure this one out, but I don't know. I can't get behind the Panthers. Can't do it. I'm gonna stick with the Packers, even though they have back-to-back losses against bad teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a ugly game because, as you just said, Mitch, those back-to-back losses were against bad teams, and in the most important time of the year, where you're trying to get into the playoff picture, they just play themselves right out of the playoff picture. I think the Packers are dead, and Carolina, interim coach, still fighting hard, even though they suck. When you get teams off back-to-back upset losses late in the year, like the Packers just did, those teams are 35 and 69 ATS's favorites in the final 5 games of the season. So I don't want any part of Green Bay right now. I just think they're dead. I'm going to take Carolina plus the points.
I'm on Carolina again, man. I can't get off them after I don't know already been beat over the head. So this is time for me to get at least some of it back on my Carolina boys. Packers, like Mitch said, they looked all right for a second, and now the wheels have kind of fell back off again. I think next year they're going to be right there in the mix of things. Might win the division, push the Lions for the division next year. Need another year under their belt. They're not terrible, and they probably win this game, but I'm not laying the points with them in this spot. I'm taking the Panthers plus the points.
We got the Browns and the Texans. Case Keenum.
Is my guy Stroud back?
Nope, he's not back.
He's questionable.
Case Keenum.
Oh, but it says, likely to miss second straight game. Yep. Keenum got it done last week.
The Case Keenum show. Yeah, he did get it done. I mean, the Titans were just killing him.
This is a tough one for me. These are two teams I've been on a ton this year. Browns and Texans. Both teams, man, like this might be one of the most important games of the weekend. Crazy enough to say, because both teams are right there trying to get in the offs. Like this is basically a playoff game here in week 16. Oof. I'm taking the home dog, the Houston Texans, with Case Keenum. Joe Flacco and the Browns have played well. I do like their defense. I just think this game comes down to the wire, and I think points are a premium. I think this is a legitimate 50-50 game. I can make the argument the Texans win it. If you're going to give me 2.5 with the home team, that's where I'm going to be. So that's kind of my thought process here. I'm taking the Texans home dog. I'll probably attack the plus money as well. I like the Browns, but I'm off them this week.
I don't know. I don't think Case Keenum gets it done 2 weeks in a row, especially not against this defense. I'm going to go with the Browns.
I mean, you act like Joe Flacco not on the other side.
Oh no, he is on the other side, but then it comes down to the better defense of the two, and it's the Browns
The
and who's the
Texans
better.
defense underrated. They underrated. They're
Oh
not the
no,
Browns.
they're not the Browns.
They're not
Correct.
as
They're not
good. They're just not as good. It's not like I love this game or anything like that.
fair.
It's
I
I
don't love
just
it either.
I don't like Case Keenum at all, to be honest with you.
Keenum had that magical run in Minnesota that
Yeah,
one year.
yeah, got him the big contract, and look where he is now.
I thought he was a third string on this team, but I guess Davis Mills is that bad. They said we're gonna go with the vet.
We haven't seen him in forever. This guy. Got
Interesting.
divisional game coming.
Or Big Al. Big Al didn't go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with the home dog. I'm gonna join Jay. It's just like I said last week. Houston is one of those teams when they're favored, you go against them. When they're an underdog, you take them. The underdog's now 11-3 ATS in Houston Texans games. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm taking the points.
Just Keenum.
Vikings Lions. Lions.
Another
They decide to wake up last week.
I had them boys last week. Love taking good teams at the crib and bounce back spots. Set up well there for them. It kind of sets up for Minnesota here too. At home in a bounce back spot. They had that game last week, or at least I thought they did early. I had the Bengals. Um, I pushed, but I thought Minnesota had that thing for majority of that game. Ah, I don't know. Tough one. Who's starting for Minnesota here? Is it it's Mullen still?
Yep,
Ah, fuck.
pretty much.
I gotta roll with Detroit, man. I gotta roll with Detroit. I can't trust Mullins. If it was my guy Dobbs, I'd be on Minnesota. Mullins, he actually didn't look that bad last week, but can't do it. Won't do it. Give me the Lions here to keep it rolling. They've been a cover team this year, last few seasons. I trust them. Laying 3.5 is kind of crazy, but I'm taking the Lions.
I think I'm gonna go with the Lions too. I'm not a big believer in this Vikings team. I don't love the Lions either. It's probably more of an over, even though the line's coming down the total. I don't care. I'm gonna go with the over. I know the Vikings haven't really been a scoring machine, that's for sure. But they haven't played the Lions defense.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I mean, this is interesting. This game, and I think there's another game. I think the Giants Eagles, where you've got two division teams meeting for the first time this season in Week 16. Then they'll meet, the last week of the season as well. But I like this game under the total. It's a division game. Neither team has a losing record. It's competitively priced, with a point spread below 5. It's got a relatively high over/under, and these types of games tend to go under the total about 60% of the time. So I'll take the under.
We got the Commanders against the Jets. Jets are a mess. Activated Aaron Rodgers. He's not playing, but he's activated. So he can practice with the team.
That way he could say he came back this season. That's all they're trying to do. We know he's not on the field, but just to say he completed the Achilles injury in one season, I get it.
No, I think it's more about like him getting to rehab and everything and do all those things.
You can rehab on IR. He's been throwing with the team. We've been seeing clips of him throwing with the team. Like you can been practice and stuff like that. We've been seeing clips of him practicing. So I literally just think that's what it is.
I don't know, it's tough to say you're back.
If they were okay, here's the thing. If they were like still in playoff contention, I think he would play. I do. the season's
I don't
over.
think he would. I mean, I saw an interview with me. He just said he wasn't healthy enough.
No. Well, I don't know. Good thing we ain't got to worry about him. It's the Zach Wilson show still, right? Or are they going back to Tim Boyle?
Won't see him next year until Coach Prime takes over.
Coach Prime staying in Colorado.
Yeah, sure. He's committed.
Winning the night, win the natty.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Oh man, that one didn't age well, did it? It happens. You got to swing for the fence to hit home runs. That's what people don't realize.
This is an ugly game. I think I'm going to take the under. I can't take the Jets. With how bad they are at home versus bad teams. I don't want to take Washington. So, yeah, I'm going to take the under. New York's now under at 15 out of 18 games versus non-winning teams. So, under the 37.
I'm a big guy. I can't like three with this Jets team. Jets, Jets. The Commanders are awful. Like, you can just look at their recent box scores and see that. But so are the Jets. You can look at their recent box scores and suggest that. Again, I think this is a 50-50 game. I think the Commanders have a legitimate shot to win this game outright. If they're going to give me a full 3 in my back pocket, I'm going to take it. Or I might even attack the plus money. Sometimes, ain't nothing wrong with a good plus money, dog. And I think the Commanders definitely have a chance to win this game here.
I'll take the Commanders. I'm not laying any points with the Jets. Worst case, I figure I push. Next up, Seahawks.
They've struggled against the NFC teams. Well, they're 2-1. The Jets are. Didn't they beat the Eagles? Yeah, they beat the Eagles. They got lost to the Giants and the Cowboys.
We got Titans Seahawks. The Seahawks are still alive in the playoffs. 7-7 seems to be not a bad place to be in the NFC these days. A lot of teams are there, so you get a chance to earn it at home. And then up against this Titans team, which are just straight dog shit last week against. It's terrible, man.
Drew Lock. Shout out Drew Lock, man. Was that more about Philly's defense, or was that just like a legacy drive from Drew Lock? Or both? Could be true.
I think Matt Patricia, I think if you have a scapegoat, you might as well just jump on
it. Philly trying. They are.
Why would you leave that door?
Patricia not on the field, though. That was Bradbury. Bradbury just got picked on. Man.
Man, these recruits look like they're like 12 years old, man. These college recruits.
We're entering them tough weeks in the NFL.
DJ Lagway signs with Florida. There's rumors that he was going to switch to USC.
Seattle got excuse me.
Bless you.
I'm gonna take the home dog here in this one as well, the Tennessee Titans. Seattle, I think the Titans probably win this game. Then Seattle bounces back, win their last two, and still get in. They got the Steelers and the Cardinals to close it out. They probably roll out Drew Lock here again, and he gets beat. Then Jimmy comes back. He's the hero, wins the last two. They get into the playoffs and probably win a wild card and then get smashed. Something like that. Something along those lines. They're going to give me 2.5 for Tennessee at the crib. I'm going to take them. I think Derrick Henry has a bounce-back game. I like him for a touchdown. I like him for 2 touchdowns. After a horrible game last week, you can usually bet him for a bounce-back. So that's what I like here. Tennessee at the crib, home dog. This their fourth home game in their last 5 games. Like they're comfortable at Tennessee, been at the crib.
They didn't look so comfortable last week.
I mean, they took them to OT. They just lost.
They were winning. They were shutting them out.
Yeah, you're right.
They choked, man. Terrible. Will Levis, jerk. I'm taking Seattle. It looks like Adams and Witherspoon should be back for him. Shores up the defense good enough, and I think if Adams, I think him and Henry is probably going to be a good battle there. I like Seattle here. I'm done with the Titans after that game.
Yeah, the problem with Seattle for me is that they're favored. I mean, this is the first time they've been favored in 6 weeks. They've covered their last 3 games when they were underdogs, winning the last one, straight up on Monday. But when you get teams that are now favored or pick them off 3 straight covers as an underdog, they've gone 24-56 ATS in non-division games. I'm not laying 2.5 points on the road with Seattle. I'll take Tennessee.
Got the Bucks and the Bucks Jags. This is a regional rivalry of sorts.
It's crazy. I won in the AFC, one in the NFC. That is kind of crazy.
Well, Florida has 3 teams. So it's a 3-team state.
Yeah. I think this one's you.
Me? Boy, this really sucks because I can't stand the Jaguars, but I really can't stand Baker Mayfield. But I gotta go with the Bucks. I think they're just playing better football right now, and I think Doug Peterson is not where I want my money to be in December. That's for sure. So I'm gonna roll with the Bucks. We're watching the Jags just dismantle in front of our very eyes. Team that was looking at the number 1 overall seed a month ago. Now, only a playoff team because they play in one of the worst divisions in all of football.
They might, yeah. And I mean, going into the season, you would have thought the Jaguars might have been the best bet to win their division, right? Or maybe Detroit. But, just because of the lack of competition. You've got 3 games to go, and it's any team's, they're in a dogfight with the Colts and Texans. So I don't even know the Jaguars are going to make it. They're off 3 straight up and ATS losses, late in the year. I don't want any part of the Jaguars here. I just think they're in a free fall. And if you get a winning team that's, winning team both straight up and ATS, they've covered just 33% on the road off back-to-back Suez losses. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
I'm taking Jacksonville. I think they went out and kind of calm everybody down. I just think they're the better team playing the better football. I think not playing the better football, but I think they're the better team. The Bucks have won 3 straight, but in that same sentence, like it's not like they were playing anybody. They played Carolina, Atlanta, Green Bay, 3 teams that are probably not going to be in the postseason.
Because they beat them.
While on the other side, Jacksonville just played Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati. 3 teams that all very well are going to be in or could be in. So, I'm not going to overreact too much. The Jags are the better team. I love taking good teams in bounce-back spots off 3 L's. I know they're on the road in this one, but, what are they? How far is Tampa from Jacksonville? 2 hours? Like, I'm on Jacksonville. They probably still sleep in their own beds. No, they not. They in a hotel. But still, I'm taking Jacksonville.
Got this beauty, the Bears and the Cardinals. The Bears screwed me last week. I had got a push in a game that I had won. I'm sorry. I won that game. It's like there's certain games where you just say, I don't care what the final score was. I won. and it was a push, but there was. I mean, how do you allow that touchdown at that point in the game like that? It's like, how is that even possible? I don't know, man. I'm sick of him. Sick of the Bears. They played so well. They were right there. They were there. It's like
You know who they remind me? You know who the Bears remind me of?
The Bears?
No, you know who they remind me of? Who plays the exact same way? Who they're always right there, and you feel like they should cover every week, and they play so well, and they just don't. The damn team they're going up against, the Arizona Cardinals. That's how I feel about them. Like, even last week, I feel like they played really well against the Niners, and it didn't matter. Or the week Christian McCaffrey got loose, but even the first time they played the Niners, they were right there. Every week, man, I come away from the game like, I'm probably going to bet the Cardinals next week. Even after a loss. It's crazy. Are you laying 4.5 with Chicago though? Are you there with Chicago? Is the
No, I'm taking the Cardinals in the points. Got to. I like the Bears to probably win the game, but I'm not laying 4.5 points. Not after that charade. What was that, man?
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona as well. Primarily because they gave up a boatload of points last week. They gave up 45 to San Francisco. So I'm going to take them to bounce back off that bad defensive game. I'm going to take Arizona plus points.
I'm taking the Cardinals as well. Short, sweet, simple. I take them every week. I tell y'all this every week. I take the Cardinals every week.
What happens if they play the Cowboys?
They already did, and I took the Cowboys, and I lost. And after that was the week I said I'm taking the Cardinals every week. Yeah. So, I'm not laying 4.5 for Chicago. Like, short, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. Would I be surprised if Chicago won the game? No. But if they do win, and I see it on a late field goal, 2 mobile quarterbacks, probably bet both of them INT, probably bet both of them over rushing yards. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I like here. The Cardinals.
Take the Cardinals. All right, next up.
Take the Chargers.
All right. The big one. It's Dolphins and the Cowboys. Remember back when Christmas Eve, all there was the Hawaii Bowl. I think it'll be back like that next year. Now that everything moves on. Actually, no, it'll probably be Monday night, right?
Let me see. I can tell you right quick.
Next year's schedule. Well, the game Christmas will be on Tuesday, so there probably won't be NFL on Christmas Day. Well, it might be. There'll be.
Isn't it a leap year next year though?
Oh yeah, it is. So it'll be further out. It'll be Wednesday.
Christmas next year's on a Wednesday.
Yep.
So yeah, probably have New Year's off and then have games on Thursday. And I don't know.
No, they'll play it. They'll play it straight Sundays and Mondays. That's how they'll do it. Man, it's beauty. I love leap year. I love it. One more day of games. One more day of picks. More picks, more days.
We doing what is this, Dallas, Miami?
Yep. I don't even know what the playoff schedule will be next year in college football because this year I haven't watched the game, but we'll see. Yeah, Dallas, Miami. Al, you want to be the tiebreaker here?
Well, last week I threw out that stat. That's now what is it, 11-1? If I'm trying to remember what it was about how the Cowboys on the road versus what winning teams that made the playoffs the year before, or something like that. They're now like 1-11 ATS. I'm going to ignore that stat, Jay. I'm actually going to take Dallas this week, mainly because, as Jay likes to do, he likes taking good teams off, bad losses. So that's what we have. And we've got Dallas off a 21-point loss. 600 or better teams have gone 159 and 114 ATS off 20-point or worse defeats. So I'm sure this is up Jay's alley. I'm going to take Dallas.
Even better. Just go look at Dallas off a loss the last 3 seasons under Mike McCarthy. I want to say I don't know if they've lost back-to-back under him. And we don't do that. No, we don't do that. We don't lose 2 games in a row. I get it here. That stat Big Al said a minute ago, it's true. It's true. We can't ignore it. But, I mean, there's stuff working against Miami here, too. Who's the best team Miami's beat this year? Miami ain't beating no good team yet either. So, these are
We
two
just beat
similar
the Jets. We beat the Jets twice.
Jets.
And the Panthers.
We beat the Jets too, and the Panthers. So, this is going to be a good game. I can't wait to watch it. Y'all know I'm on the boys, though. Like, y'all know that's where I'm at. So, we'll see. We'll see. The Dolphins need Tyreek Hill on that field. That's what they do need. They're at home. We'll see. We'll see. You think y'all gonna try to put us in our navies? We usually don't. I don't know. That's gonna be interesting. We like to wear white on the road. We'll see if they put us in our navy.
I don't think Miami's going to care what Dallas likes to wear them. I think the issue, though, is that a 4:25 Eastern time start is a lot different than a 1 o'clock Eastern time start. So we may see the other ones. I do believe when I think we'll see Miami in their whites, though.
For sure. It's gonna be a good game. I can't wait. We probably got to do halftime for this one, Mitch. We usually don't do the late afternoon, but
Yeah, Christmas Eve,
he's our team.
Ruffolo Day, we'll be there at Ruffolo. Ruffolo Day, right, Al?
I don't.
Yeah, Ruffalo Day we were covering the Hawaii Bowl. It was the only game. It was me, him, and Rod on the show. And I said, Chris, all right, who do you like in this one?
He passed.
He passed. It was, I'm like, well, then what are we doing here? It's like, there's only one game. And it's like, nothing. No first quarter, nothing. It's like.
Yeah, so is that how the term originated? I'm doing a Ruffalo.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Mitch, I want to hear why your Dolphins are going to win this game.
It's their day. This is their time. They had this opportunity last year against the Packers. On Christmas Day, they didn't take it. They didn't take advantage of it, and I think this year they do. And I just think I don't know. I think if it was like a neutral site in a Super Bowl or whatever, I think we'd lose. But I think in this game, I think we win at home. And I think for us, I think the NFL wants us to win because it sets up for next week, and that's what the NFL is always about, the setup. It's like. For Dallas, it's like they're gonna set up one way or another. But for the Dolphins, they have the big game to set up, right? Because they have the next game. They have 2. It's a double setup for the Dolphins. Because you got this game. You have next week. You have we play the Ravens, right? So it's the Ravens played the 49ers on Monday. On Christmas Day, and we play the Ravens next week. So it's a double setup.
Dolphins lose here, bounce back, beat the Ravens?
No, it's a double. It's a setup. It's a double setup. Dolphins win this one. Because I take the Dolphins because the fix is in. Taylor Swift will be at the game.
Not sure this should be at this one.
She was just stunned when Travis Kelce got pushed over in the end zone. She was just beside herself. I'm a little sick of her, if you need to know. I don't know. The thing is, I'm sick of her, but I'm more sick of him. Al, you pro Travis Kelce or anti?
I've mentioned here on the show before, I don't care about celebrities. Not pro, not anti, just don't give a shit.
That's why you live in L.A. Neighbors probably appreciate that. Got the Patriots and the Broncos. Patriots back in prime time. Al, back on the horse. Patriots one more time. You only got X
Why
amount of
not?
times. It's like it's like so this year, if it wasn't for I had a horrible college basketball season. My college basketball season was so bad that if you would have taken out my college basketball, I would have been the number one handicapper on the site by 10 times. Like with everybody, that's how bad my college basketball was. I think you might be the same with the NFL without your Patriots. I think you would be up another 1,000 units, right? 2,000.
I
1,000 you
don't
lost.
know, to be honest with you. I'll look as we're talking, but I don't think that's true. I don't think it's as bad as you think it is.
They're 4-10 against the number, so
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about when what am I doing on the premium side, right? So
right. So if you won, I don't know, 4 and lost 10, still minus 1,200, right?
well, I don't take them every week. I mean, that's the thing.
Just feels like it.
It's
Did you have them last week?
and I had them plus 9.5. The line actually closed at 10.5 in the last 15 minutes of action, but can't wait till the last 15 minutes. But
Really, I got it like 8 or something.
yeah, it went from 9.5 down to 8, and then it went back up all the way to 10.5. All the money came in on what do you call it?
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Shout out from Chiefs, man.
Let's see. I'm curious to see.
I wants to know what the real damage has been.
I do. I'm actually curious. See how I've done in New England games this year. Let's see. I'm 4-7 in New England games
That's not
this
bad.
year. Yeah.
You've had 4 wins. That's good.
No, hold on a second. 2, 2, 3. I'm 2-3 on totals and 2-4 on sides. So yeah, New England's not been good to me this year. But but I had the winner last week. I had the over in the New England Kansas City game last week. So, and I had the loser on New England, so I was 1-1 in the game.
Well, you're back on the horse here on the road in Denver.
I'm definitely taking New England. I mean, it's. I mean, both teams off horrible, games, but Denver's off a much worse game. They lost by 25 points, and now they're laying 6.5. Late in the season, when you get games between teams off back-to-back when you get games between teams that are both off losses, the favorites are really bad. They've covered 53 of 141 in the final 3 weeks of the season. Especially if the home favorite is off a big loss, as Denver was, and they're off a double-digit loss. So I can't lay 6.5 with Denver, so I'm going to take New England.
I'm taking the under. I don't trust neither offense. Short, sweet, simple. I think this is a classic low-scoring, ugly football game. Sidewise, I would lean Patriots. Y'all know I ain't betting Patriots. I ain't doing it. So under for me here to play in this one.
Denver for me. I'm not going anywhere near the Patriots. I've been fading them all season long. There's no reason to get off the horse. I'm going to take Denver circa pick the whole 9 yards. Basically have to go 15 and 0 the last. Which isn't impossible.
No.
Especially given the format. Chiefs and the Raiders. People do it, you know. So
When I won the mini contest back in 2015, that was the final 3 weeks of the season for the Westgate. I went 14-1, and I should have gone 15-0. I thought I was going to win all 15, but
Sean
ended up going 14.
McVay called timeout and kicked the field goal.
Hey, first of all, you got a fortunate, semi-fortunate win with the Commanders Rams, because what the hell is Rivera not going for 2 when they score the touchdown down 28-14? You have to go for 2 there to at least give yourself, anyway. They would have had a 50-50 shot or 50-50 chance of covering the 6.5 if they go for 2 and he kicks the extra point like an idiot, and then it gets blocked and they don't even get the extra point.
Show business. Chiefs and the Raiders.
Patrick Mahomes owns the Raiders. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Chiefs went out. Chiefs cover here. They're back.
Christmas Day. Will Taylor Swift be there for Christmas Day?
They're going to the AFC Championship game again, and they're going to beat the Ravens, go to the Super Bowl, and play the Cowboys. It's my story.
What's Kansas City seated right now in the AFC?
4th or 5th? 4th, maybe?
4th, I think.
They're going to be on the road.
First time, right?
Yep.
They're going to be all right because they're going to win out.
Jay's been saying they're going to win out for the last month, and they've lost the first 2. As soon as you started saying they're going to win out, they lost the first 2 outright.
Yeah, but now they're going to win out. They're going to finish 10-5, and they're going to be okay.
Now they're going to win out. They're going to beat the Raiders. They're going to beat the Bengals.
They're not going to beat the Bengals.
And they're going to beat the Chargers.
They might beat
They're going to win out. They're going to beat 3 crap teams.
They're not going to beat the Bengals.
On a limb.
They're not going to beat the Bengals.
They're going to be 10-5. Only the real Joe Shiesty can go in the Arrowhead and get it done. Jake he not ready for that yet.
He is ready. He's
not ready. So I think the Chiefs went out. I got the Dolphins losing this week. That put them at 10-5, right?
Jay acts as if it's fact. It's recorded fact and done.
You know what though? It probably is. I mean, that's probably what will happen, right? I mean, because Kansas City always has home field advantage.
Yeah, like this the Chiefs. Like I don't know why people trying to write them off. Like you might as well ride with them more than try to write them off. Like I ain't doing it. I think they're going back to the bowl. We'll see. AFC Championship game for sure.
Goes through Kansas City.
Huh?
Well, I guess I think that probably the Ravens probably are going to just be the number 1 seed this year. So
they might be, and Kansas City might be too. Kansas City might have.
Meanwhile, Dolphins win the next 2 weeks. They're number 1. It's pretty much that's how it works.
Yeah, no, I mean, Baltimore. If Baltimore loses to San Francisco and Miami, then
it's a lot of shakeup to happen.
No, if we beat the Ravens next week, we're 1. If we win this week and we beat the Ravens, we're 1.
If you win this, if you beat Dallas, if you beat the 2 of the 4 best teams in football, you're number 1. That's true.
Exactly, and we're due.
I get it.
Well, put it this way, okay? Put it this way. So, who gives out the trophy for the AFC Championship?
I don't know.
Who gives out the trophy?
Roger Goodell.
Okay.
Where would he rather be in late January?
I mean, that is a compelling argument, but I don't know if it's gonna shake out that way.
Well,
I think they've been pretty comfortable in that snow in Kansas City. We'll see.
Well, I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm laying the double digits.
Me too, Big Al. I'm not even going to entertain the other side.
No.
After that Raiders performance,
It's just
Chiefs December in Arrowhead. Do we got to say anymore?
yeah. And also that was the Raiders, coming off 3 home games, now going on the road. NFL road teams off a win and 3 home games, they're terrible. 104 and 145 ATS. Chiefs are money, especially off ATS losing streaks like they are. So I'm going to take the Chiefs.
And they always kick the crap out of the Raiders. They just do. They just always kick the crap out of them. Or the Chiefs.
I'm gonna take a shot on the Raiders. I like the way they looked last week.
You just hating on the Chiefs. It's okay.
I don't love the Chiefs this year. I just think that they can't hold on to the ball, so it's just tough to cover big spreads.
There's some validity to that. I agree with you.
It's always a Grinch for Christmas. It's this game. Giants. Tommy DeVito decides it'd be bad vibes to stiff the pizza place. Shows up. It's like that's probably some pretty bad karma. It's like, that was ridiculous. That story got front page of ESPN about Tommy DeVito's pizza.
It's crazy. I saw that story too, so I know they were pushing it. That is pretty crazy.
It's crazy, right? It's like, you would think like that guy like that, it would be much more in his best interest to go there and do it for free, get like exposure and folk hero and all that other stuff.
Do the Eagles bounce back and dominate the Giants? It's a $1 million question.
They don't look right.
They don't. I think they win the game. I don't know if they dominate though, guys. I could see it even a 10-point win. Like, I think that's the best case scenario for Philly here. They're at home. I get it. Christmas Day. Like, I get it. I still want the points in my back pocket division battle. I'm taking the Giants. I think it will be a 10-point win for Philadelphia in the end.
I'll probably take the Giants here too. I'm on the fence, I would say. I just don't. The Eagles just haven't looked right. They just haven't. The Giants are terrible, but
bounce back spot at the crib. Big Al.
Divisional game.
For me, it's a big step down in class for Philly. They just played Murderers Row.
Sure.
It's the Giants. You get a team playing on Monday night, coming home off back-to-back road games. Winning teams coming home off back-to-back road losses. This is just a great scheduling situation for Philly. Good bounce back. I'm laying the 12.
It is a classic bounce back spot at the crib. I don't know if I'm betting the Giants and DeVito and them. The Magic might run out here. I love them bounce back spots at the crib.
And last, but not least,
I need the Giants to pull a miracle in one of them and win outright.
We like to say that this is the type of game where it's like, you're sick of your family, get drunk and gamble. Got the Ravens against the 49ers.
It's definitely that game.
It is that game.
Christmas Day. Ooh, the NFL. I gripe a lot about the NFL, but they did this right. This is how you do it right here. This is how you do it. They actually nailed it. Christmas Day, late game, last game of the day. Niners, Ravens. Good job, NFL.
Could have been a disaster.
Could have.
They could have had the Dolphins, Cowboys, and then this game instead of that Eagles Giants crap.
in their defense, the Giants were a playoff team last year. So, like, that's why the Giants got so many primetime games this year, because they were a playoff team last year.
Too many.
Yeah, it's way too many. This was you. What you doing here? Monday night, Christmas night. Santa already ate his cookies. He's already gone. Ben left.
Taking the Ravens. I think that the
Ooh.
49ers are like super overrated, and I think we've seen them play really, really good games. We've seen them play not so well. I think Brock Purdy could be the most overrated player in the league. He doesn't beat himself. He does a lot of the little things good, but he doesn't have like the skill set to win the game for you against the better teams. He hasn't really been put in that situation where it's like it's a tight game, it's late. He's got to drive the team down the field like Joe Montana. Joe Montana was somewhat limited too. He didn't have the big arm or any of those things, but he had Jerry Rice on his team. And the thing is that he knew how to get the ball down the field, and he knew that one of his 2 or 3 guys would be open. He knew how to, he didn't beat himself, and that's kind of what Brock Purdy does. He's not Joe Montana. Meanwhile, I think the Ravens have the type of defense, man. They put a lick on that guy. It's all over for the 49ers. No playoff, no Super Bowl, no championship, no nothing. This guy one hit away because they got nothing after him. I mean, I don't. The Ravens they hurt people, man. They hurt people. I think they beat the Niners up in this game. I think they just physically beat the crap out of them. That's their game. They drag it down to their level. There's very few teams that get excited about like a Christian McCaffrey, trying to run it between the tackles on them. The Ravens are those guys. This is their game. This is what they live for. It's their identity. They're not going to get beat by a team that has 3 weapons. Half a quarterback. I like that Purdy said that Christian McCaffrey should be the MVP. Oh, because in the 3 games you guys lost, you sucked, right? That would be a pretty good reason. All 3 games you lost were pretty much on you. Well, one thing we know about the Niners, when Deebo Samuel plays, they win. He is actually the MVP. But I don't know. I think the Ravens got a good chance to win this game.
They actually have a really good chance. I don't know. Big Al, you want to hear the stat right quick?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you've got 2 great teams, both with scoring margins. The 49ers scoring margin is north of 13 points per game. Baltimore's, over 11 points per game. Monday Night Football games between 2 great teams. If you take a look at their, at game 4 forward, so you've got some games under your belt. The favorites do really well. They're 22-9 ATS. San Francisco historically has done great on Monday Night Football, especially when they're not favored by more than 10 points. They're 47-17 ATS. I mean, Baltimore's obviously a really good team. They've got a great chance to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going against the 49ers. I'm taking San Francisco.
I'm taking the Ravens. Here's why. The last 7 Monday Night Football games, the dog has won outright. I don't even know if everybody knows that. The dog has won the last 7 Monday Night Football games outright.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Mitch. I think Baltimore has a legitimate shot to go and get these boys. I do.
I think the Niners are the least special team that people put on this pedestal that I've seen in a while.
I think this is the game we see Purdy struggle a bit. I do. I think the Ravens defense can create some havoc. If they're going to give me 5.5, I'm taking it. The Niners, I have said, are the best team in football. I've said that since like week 2. I've been consistent with that.
But match them up. I mean, how are they better than the Ravens? Like, at what position?
They beat the hell out of my Cowboys and beat the hell out of the Ravens. Like, that happened. It happened. And I think those are the 2 and 3 best teams in the NFC. So I got to give them a little credit for that. But I also got to get the other side of the coin here is the Ravens against NFC opponents. really the last few seasons under Lamar? Money. They did fail to cover in their last one against the Rams. Did win the game though. I think everything that I look at in this game yells Ravens, and I'm getting 5.5. I love McCaffrey. I want McCaffrey to have a huge game. He won me my fantasy game last week. I'm in the semifinals. I need McCaffrey to have a good game, but he can still have a good game. I'm taking the Ravens.
All right. Well, it should be a good one. At least we have some really good matchups this week. So 2 more weeks to go. Then it's playoff time. Shorter shows, but just as much going on. So it's the playoff format. There's a Monday night on the first one. I think there's a Peacock game. You don't got the Peacock? I got the Peacock app, actually. Xfinity gave it to me for free for a year. But why do I have to get an app to watch? It's stupid. Just throw it on the TV, man. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. See you guys next week.